Hello, good morning everybody. It's really a pleasure to be here in the boiler house as an old boiler salesman. And Pete, thank you for your nice introduction, and to the organizers, many thanks for this speaking opportunity. My topic of today is quite teasing. If you're expecting me to tell you how to design and make flying buildings, I'm sorry to disappoint you, I won't do that. But instead, I will make 5 statements which are based on a true story. These statements are things that I've observed and learned while being in this business the past 2 years, because this is the time when I joined buildings and construction business. So I make the statements, but at the end I will also make and share with you my view on what we can together do to really make smart buildings fly, and how we can act for a change. Okay, during the past 2 years, I've been privileged to meet very many people. And of course, every time we meet, we talk about smart buildings, smart cities, how we can make it happen. But unfortunately, we have a reality, meaning that we are many times fighting with very simple process control issues. It can be simultaneous heating and cooling in buildings. Sometimes we are talking with our clients about integration, how difficult it is to integrate, connect different applications and systems, and the cost, it's always a surprise. It can be also contractual liability issues related to buildings consisting of many different players and technologies, while the buildings won't really function as expected. And then, of course, the argumentation can be sometimes really tough. Sometimes I met people who say that, okay, yes, I have accepted this procurement decision, also the evaluation criteria in the public sector, without really knowing what I get. And this is really interesting. The thing I'm really worried about is cybersecurity. In my company, we receive hundreds of RFPs for building management systems. But in majority of these RFPs, requests for proposals, there are hardly no requirements or very low requirements on cybersecurity. And this is, I think, very serious. Why is it so? I start with my 5 statements with letter S. The biggest challenge I've learned in our business in construction industry is the supply chain. The value chain of how we design and construct the smart buildings. You know, in many cases, and over the decades, this value chain, it has been created, designed to minimize the cost at every step. Meaning that most often this minimization of cost happens on the cost of the owners, investors' money, on the cost of quality, and also on the cost of end-user experience, the expected output of the smart building that you can see on the right-hand side, those characteristics. I met one decision maker in one of the key cities in Finland. He was sitting in the steering group while the project was running for a mid-sized commercial building. And he said that, okay, only in that subcontractor's box, there were over 200 subcontracted pieces. And according to him, it was a true miracle that this building was ever raised and functional. My statement number 2 goes with letter M, as you may guess already. And it's as simple as money. Let me ask you, the audience, please raise your hand if you believe that it's possible to introduce new innovations, new ideas, and new smart technologies without making an extra effort and spending some more money. 1. But I go with the majority. Sorry. In my opinion, I think it's totally impossible to do the change, to build smart buildings without taking advantage of the new technologies and making some targeted extra spend. Not spending widely, but we need to do active decisions. But what is the reality? Most often in the value chain I showed you, money counts, meaning the cheapest and simplest wins. And this is especially the case in the public sector. I think you are all familiar how it goes, but the reality is that 60 to 80% of the evaluation, when getting the points, whether you win the bid or not, it goes with money. And the funny thing is that I met hundreds of people and I've discussed this topic, and I have not yet today met a single guy or lady who likes this. But it continues, year after year. Let's proceed. My third statement, I call it active ownership. Or more correctly, lack of active ownership. If we want to build smart things, change the way we do things today, I cannot see any other way that the owners of the money, those who will invest in new buildings, operate the buildings, use the buildings, will take more active control over the entire process, from engineering, design, to construction, erection of these buildings. Because they must really take this active role. And if I take a private life example, if I'm building my smart home, I will spend some hundreds of thousands of euros on that. Would I outsource the selection of vendors, selection of equipment to my kitchen, bathroom, to my house, or selection of any other technique to a third party? Of course not. So my question is, why don't the owners really take more control? Statement number 4, rethink. This is actually a combination of previous 3. In our business, I think it's time to think over. If we want to change, if we want to make things more smart than we do today, we must stop, we need to challenge, we need to ask questions, and we need to rethink how we cooperate. And I'm not blaming or pointing at anybody in our dear business, but I just say that if I want to change, then I can't do that alone. If you want to change, you can't do that alone. We need to change how we work together in this business. We need to find new ways for our business models. And while I'm saying that no single actor can really make the change, the answer is in this fine illustration from 2009. Because I can speak here for decades and nothing changes. I would only be this mouse running desperately and trying to change the huge business models of General Motors back in 2009. Nothing happens. So I see that this is really a collective challenge that we need to understand and react on. The final statement I want to make, and this is one of my favorites, is technology. Most of you are familiar with Gartner Group and their famous hype curves. This is the hype curve for building IoT from last year. And I won't go through this in detail, but I think you can make the same conclusion as I'm doing. What comes to the future smart technologies, I would say that the future is very bright. We don't need to be worried about whether there will be enough new innovations and technologies that we can use for our smart building purposes. But what I'm more concerned about is how we can adopt all the nice things that are coming through startup companies and more established companies in our business. Because this is related to the technology platforms we are installing in our smart buildings. So the big question is really, what is the platform, what kind of building management systems or other systems we choose so that they can really integrate with everything new that is coming. If it was for me to decide, I'm not an engineer, but if I had the power to design a true integrated smart building IoT platform, the solution map could look like this. In these green boxes surrounded by the white box, the white line, I think we have all the basic technologies needed to run a truly smart building, meaning connected, totally integrated solutions for smart switchboards, power distribution, metering, elevator control, EV charging, smart fire security solutions, etc., etc. And of course, what I would like to have is one single user interface, so-called building interface to all these different applications, instead of 10 screens. And of course, I would like to have very smart energy optimization solution that controls my demand and supply of local or other energy sources I use in the building. Why not? To participate in demand response. So, in this harmonic picture, everything is connected, it's integrated, and the data flows smoothly in all directions, so that the building information can be used inside the building by all the stakeholders, all the operators in the building, but also outside. And this I think and see as more important by terms of smart building, meaning how the building information can be subtracted to other purposes. It can be analytics with regards to energy, people, or maintenance operations. And even further, how the building information can be used for any third-party applications or value-added services. Okay, this is my dream. But what happens when I take my 5 statements and this my beautiful solution map would come into the procurement and contracting like I've described, is so-called Big Bang. This map is exploded into minimum 5 pieces that will start once again in the beginning of the construction supply chain. And you can just only imagine what happens with connectivity and all the other fine things we are trying to achieve. Okay, this is the reality. I'm not pessimist, I'm optimist. And I must say that we have, in my company, have the possibility to work on smart buildings over the globe in hundreds of projects. And actually, we are working on a number of projects with our customers and partners here in Finland as well. The closest examples we have in the smart Kalasatama area, we are collaborating with Kesko and City of Helsinki, for instance. But instead of taking you to these projects, let me make a 3-minute trip together with you to Paris and La Défense area, and let's check what our customer did in their smart building project. A short video.
Ampère Plus était destiné dès le départ à devenir notre siège social. Dès 2013, on a démarré la conception avec pour objectif d'en faire la vitrine de notre savoir-faire. Notre vision de l'immobilier, c'était de remettre l'humain au cœur de son milieu de vie. Ce qui était très important pour nous, c'était de beaucoup travailler sur la connectivité pour faire de ce futur immeuble un immeuble intelligent, smart building, donc un immeuble connecté. Le processus d'innovation, on l'a initié au départ en nouant des partenariats avec Schneider électrique. Ce qui nous intéressait chez Schneider, c'était une application mobile qui avait pour but d'apporter du service à l'utilisateur. Cette application que nous avons développée M2C pour mobilité, confort, connectivité, elle a plusieurs fonctionnalités. La première des fonctionnalités, c'est de dématérialiser les différents badges qu'ont les utilisateurs de l'immeuble. C'est à la fois des badges pour accéder au parking, pour avoir des informations sur l'occupation ou pas de places de parking dans les sous-sols de l'immeuble, pour accéder au bâtiment. Le porte-monnaie électronique qui permet à la fois de payer aux machines à café dans les étages, à la cafétéria, au restaurant inter-entreprise. Dans une application qui est intégrée au smartphone, eh bien on a tous les badges, donc une utilisation très facilitée à l'intérieur du bâtiment. Pour la deuxième fonctionnalité, c'est une télécommande qui va, elle, gérer les organes de confort de l'espace de travail de chaque collaborateur. Fermer ou ouvrir les stores, moduler la température. Et puis, je peux éteindre ou allumer l'éclairage de mon poste de travail. Fonctionnalité majeure, c'est un accès aux services qui sont proposés par l'immeuble. Ça peut être de la réservation de salle de réunion, ça peut être les services de conciergerie. Une fonctionnalité qui est très utilisée aussi, c'est la déclaration d'incident. Je peux déclarer un incident, une ampoule grillée, une fuite d'eau ou que sais-je, information qui va être après remontée au service de facility management de l'entreprise ou de l'immeuble. À travers une application qui est unique, qui amène énormément de confort aux utilisateurs de l'immeuble. L'offre EcoStructure Building Operation, aujourd'hui, de Schneider, nous permet d'aller encore plus loin dans le développement avec les 3 niveaux. Le niveau d'information que l'on va saisir au niveau des capteurs, la GTB qui va être l'intelligence supérieure du bâtiment et toute la couche applicative qui amène tout le service aux usagers du futur bâtiment. Donc là, il y a vraiment un intérêt à pousser les projets dans ce sens et c'est une offre que l'on va intégrer dorénavant dans les projets que Sogeprom va développer, les projets d'immeubles de bureaux.
So, welcome back to the boiler house. I hope the trip was enjoyable. So, let me then wrap up and summarize by making 5 statements for us all, how we together can make the smart buildings fly. And number 1 is, like I said, it's time to think and act in a different way compared to how we have been used to work. And I raise really that the owners should take more active role in construction business and building smart buildings. And if we want to do the change that we need to do as a society. We need to rethink the business models in the construction value chain. I know this is not an easy task, but it simply must happen sooner or later. As simple as that. And then we must put the people, especially the users of the building, in the core of every future smart building project. Because smart is not only to have smart lighting control or smart ventilation heating control. It's much more, meaning how we can make people more efficient, how we can make that the environment, the wellness of the people is at right level. And from the technical perspective, I see that we should rethink from systems to platforms. We must think about integrated and future-proof building IoT platforms. that can use all the upcoming new technologies and solutions. And finally, my firm opinion is that there won't be anything smart without using the latest technologies, like IoT, like artificial intelligence, and finally, sometimes it simply will cost some money, and we need to be prepared to use that money. So I thank you for your interest, and I'm happy to discuss with my team these topics more today, so thank you very much.